The Zephyrian ships were trying to escape, but Jake Morrison wasn't ready to let them go. Not yet. He wanted to make sure they would never forget this day. He wanted them to go back to their empire and tell everyone what happened when they attacked. Humans. Ben, bring our reactor to full power, Jake ordered. It's time to show these aliens what human engineering really looks like. Ben Rodriguez's hands moved quickly over his controls. Yes, sir. Bringing reactor to 100% power. His computer screen lit up with numbers that seemed impossible. Captain, I've never seen power levels this high. The whole ship is humming with energy. The Retribution began to glow with a soft blue light. Deep inside the ship, machines that had been sleeping for 30 years were waking up. Weapon systems that could destroy entire fleets were coming online. The ship's computer was calculating how to use all this power in the most effective way. Amy, take us toward their main group, Jake said. Let's finish this properly. Amy Walsh pushed her controls forward and the huge warship moved like a hunting shark. The Retribution was so big that it should have been slow and clumsy. Instead, it moved faster than the fleeing alien ships. Carl, deploy all weapon systems, Jake commanded. I want every gun on this ship ready to fire. Carl Jensen looked at his weapon station in amazement. New controls were appearing faster than he could count them. Sir, I'm showing weapon systems I didn't know existed. We have plasma cannons, fusion bombs, particle accelerators, and something called a gravity disruptor. What's a gravity disruptor? Dr. Helen Pierce asked from her medical station. Something that makes black holes, Jake said simply. But we won't need that today. We're not trying to destroy planets. The Retribution's hull was changing again. Huge sections of armor plating moved aside to reveal weapons that looked like they belonged in a science fiction movie. Cannons as big as buildings extended from the ship's sides. Missile launchers that could hold 1,000 rockets appeared on the top and bottom of the ship. All weapon systems online, the ship's computer announced. Ready to engage enemy fleet. The remaining Zephyrian ships had formed a defensive circle around their damaged flagship. They were firing everything they had at the approaching human ship, but their weapons were useless against the Retribution's shields. They're trying to protect their command ship, Tony Brooks reported from his navigation station. 24 ships left in their fleet. They're all concentrating their fire on us. The alien weapons hit the Retribution's shields like rain hitting a window. The blue energy barrier around the ship absorbed every shot without even flickering. Meanwhile, the human ship was getting ready to show the aliens what real firepower looked like. Return fire, Jake ordered, but aim carefully. I want them to surrender, not die. What happened next was the most one-sided battle in the history of space warfare. The Retribution fired a single volley from half of its weapons. Streams of energy and clouds of missiles flew toward the Zephyrian fleet. Each shot was perfectly aimed to disable enemy ships without killing too many aliens. 6 Zephyrian cruisers exploded at the same time as their reactors were hit. 4 destroyers lost their engines and began drifting through space. 3 more ships had their weapon systems completely destroyed. In less than 30 seconds, the alien fleet was cut in half. Impossible, Admiral Vextar whispered over the communication channel. His voice was full of fear and disbelief. No ship has that much firepower. What kind of monsters are humans? Jake heard the alien admiral's words and felt a little sad. We're not monsters, Admiral. We're just people who don't like being pushed around. The surviving Zephyrian ships were now trying to run away as fast as they could, but the Retribution was faster than all of them. Jake decided to give them one more demonstration before letting them go. Amy, bring us alongside their biggest remaining ship, Jake said. Carl, use the precision beam array. I want to write my name on their hull. Write your name? Carl asked, not sure he had heard correctly. You heard me. Use the smallest beam setting and write, Jake Morrison says hello on the side of their ship. Don't hurt anyone. Just let them know we could have destroyed them easily. Carl worked his controls carefully. A thin beam of energy shot out from the Retribution and began burning letters into the alien ship's metal hull. The letters were each 50 feet tall, so everyone on the alien ship could see them clearly. The crew of the Retribution watched as their captain's message appeared on the enemy ship. It was Jake's way of showing the aliens that humans had been playing with them. They could have destroyed the entire fleet in the first minute of the battle, but they had chosen to be merciful instead. Message complete, Carl reported. I think they got the point. Admiral Vextar's flagship was still floating helplessly nearby. The big ship's engines were dead, but its communication system still worked. The alien admiral's face appeared on the main screen one more time. We surrender, Vextar said. His voice was quiet and defeated. We did not know humans had ships like yours. We thought your people were weak and easy to destroy. Jake nodded. Now you know better. But I'm not going to destroy your fleet, Admiral. I'm going to let most of your ships go home. Why? The alien asked. He looked confused. In our empire, we always destroy defeated enemies. Because we're not like you, Jake explained. We only fight when we have to. We don't enjoy killing, but we're very good at it when someone forces us to fight. Jake walked closer to the main screen. I want you to go back to your empire, Admiral. Tell your leaders what happened here. Tell them that humans have been hiding their real strength. Tell them that if they leave us alone, we'll leave them alone. But if they attack our people again, they'll face more ships like this one. How many ships like yours do humans have? Admiral Vextar asked the question that had been bothering him all day. Jake smiled mysteriously. That's for us to know and for you to wonder about. But I'll give you a hint. Every cargo ship, every mining vessel, every transport that you see in human space might be more than it appears to be. The alien admiral's 4 eyes went wide with fear. You mean there are more ships like yours pretending to be civilian vessels? Maybe, Jake said. Maybe not. You'll never know for sure. But ask yourself this question, Admiral. Do you really want to find out? Lisa Carter was monitoring all the radio signals from the alien fleet. Captain, they're talking about retreating. Some of their ship commanders want to leave right now. Let them go, Jake decided. But not all of them. Disable 3 more ships and leave them here. I want some witnesses to stay behind and see what happens to ships that attack humans. Carl targeted 3 of the fleeing Zephyrian vessels and fired single shots that knocked out their engines. The ships were not destroyed, but they couldn't move anymore. Admiral Vextar, Jake said, I'm going to tow your flagship and these 3 disabled ships to the nearest human base. You'll be treated fairly, but you'll be prisoners until your government agrees to stop attacking our people. The alien admiral nodded slowly. And the rest of my fleet? They can go home and tell everyone what they learned today. The old cargo ship Lucky Strike moved slowly through space near the Centauri star system. Its metal hull was covered with dents and patches from many years of hard work. Captain Jake Morrison sat in his worn captain's chair and looked at the big screen in front of him. What he saw made his stomach feel cold. 40 alien warships were coming toward them. Each ship was 3 times bigger than the Lucky Strike. The ships had red markings that showed they belonged to the Zephyrian Empire. Jake had heard stories about these aliens. They were mean and liked to destroy human ships for fun. "Captain, they want to talk to us," said Lisa Carter. She was the person who handled all the talking between ships. Her voice shook a little because she was scared. "Put them on the screen," Jake said. He tried to sound calm, even though his heart was beating fast. The bridge where Jake and his crew worked was small and old. There were only 12 people on the whole ship. They were not soldiers. Most of them had spent their lives moving cargo, from one planet to another. Some had worked in space mines. None of them knew how to fight a war. A big blue light appeared in front of Jake's chair. Slowly, the shape of an alien appeared in the light. It was Admiral Vextar of the Zephyrian fleet. He looked like a giant lizard that could walk on 2 legs. He had 4 yellow eyes and sharp teeth. When he looked at Jake, his eyes were full of hate. "Human ship, you will give up right now," the alien said. His voice was deep and scary. "Your weak little ship will be good practice for my new soldiers. They need to learn how to destroy things." Jake rubbed his gray beard and smiled a little. This made some of his crew look at him like he was crazy. How could he smile when "We're about to die?" "Well now, Admiral," Jake said in a friendly voice. "That's not very nice of you. We're just carrying some rocks from the asteroid belt. We don't want any trouble." "Your whole race will be destroyed," Admiral Vextar said. "We will start by blowing up your ship. It will be fun to watch you burn." The alien's image disappeared. The bridge became very quiet. Everyone looked at Jake and waited to see what he would do. Ben Rodriguez was the ship's engineer. He took care of all the machines that made the ship work. He looked at his computer screen and his face went white. "Captain," Ben said, "they're getting ready to shoot at us. I count 43 ships. Some are cruisers, some are destroyers, and there's one really big ship that looks like it could destroy a whole planet." Jake looked around at his crew. Amy Walsh was the pilot. She was young and had only been flying spaceships for 5 years. Tony Brooks knew how to read star maps and plan trips between planets. Dr. Helen Pierce was a doctor who took care of people when they got hurt. Carl Jensen knew about weapons, but only the small ones that cargo ships carried to scare away pirates. "Does anyone have any ideas?" Jake asked. But his voice was still calm, like they were just talking about what to eat for dinner. "We could try to run away," Amy said. "But their ships are faster than ours. They'll catch us before we can jump to another star system." Lisa Carter looked at her computer. "Captain, even if we surrender, I don't think they'll let us live. The Zephyrians don't usually take prisoners. They just like to kill humans." Dr. Pierce shook her head. "We have 12 people on this ship. They have thousands of soldiers. Even if we had weapons, we couldn't fight them." Tony Brooks was looking at the star charts. "The nearest human base is 6 days away. We'll never make it that far." Jake listened to all of this, but he didn't look worried. Instead, he looked like he was remembering something from a long time ago. His eyes got a strange look in them, like he knew a secret that no one else knew. "No," Jake said quietly. "I don't think we should run away. I think it's time we showed these lizards what humans can really do when they get angry." He turned to Ben Rodriguez. "Ben, start up the old girl's real engines." Ben looked confused. "Sir, we only have cargo engines. They're not very powerful. We use them to move heavy loads slowly. They won't help us fight." Jake smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. It was the kind of smile that made people think he knew something they didn't. "Ben, my friend," Jake said, "there are many things about this ship that you don't know. Things I've never told anyone." The crew looked at each other. What was their captain talking about? They had all worked on this ship for years. It was just an old cargo hauler. The Lucky Strike was 40 years old and had been fixed so many times that half the parts came from other ships. Outside the windows, the Zephyrian fleet was getting closer. Their ships were beautiful and deadly. Each one had enough weapons to destroy a small moon. The biggest ship in the middle was as long as a city. It had guns that could shoot energy beams across thousands of miles of space. "Sir," Amy said, "what do you mean about real engines? This ship only has one engine. I should know. I'm the one who flies it every day." Jake stood up from his chair. He walked to the back wall of the bridge. There was nothing there except some old metal panels that no one had ever paid attention to. "Computer," Jake said to the ship, "scan my hand and voice. Authorization Jake Morrison, Captain, Earth Defense Force, service number 727 Alpha Niner." Everyone stared at him. Earth Defense Force? That was the military. Jake had always told them he used to be a simple cargo pilot. Why was he talking like a soldier? Jake put his hand on one of the metal panels. A blue light scanned his palm and fingers. Then a voice came from the ship's computer. But it wasn't the same voice they had heard for years. This voice sounded different. It sounded like a military computer. "Handprint confirmed. Voice pattern confirmed. Welcome back, Captain Morrison. How may I serve you?" The crew's mouths fell open. Their ship's computer had never talked like that before. And what did it mean by "welcome back"? "It's time," Jake said to the computer. "Show them what we really are." Suddenly, the bridge began to change. Panels in the walls slid open, and new computers came out. The lights got brighter. More screens appeared everywhere. The old, broken-down bridge of a cargo ship was turning into something that looked like it belonged on a warship. But this was just the beginning. The biggest surprise was still coming. The corridors of the Nightfall seemed to stretch forever. Jake Morrison led his team deeper into the ship, following the faint emergency lights that activated as they moved. The walls were covered with control panels and displays that he had never seen before. Everything looked far more advanced than the technology on their salvage ship. "These systems are incredible," Lisa Campbell whispered as she ran her scanner over a wall panel. "The computing power must be enormous. I've never seen anything like this." Danny Rodriguez kept his weapon ready as they walked. "Something doesn't feel right about this place. The ship has been dead for 30 years, but it feels like it's watching us." They reached a large circular chamber at the center of the ship. The room was filled with massive computer banks and control stations. In the center stood a single chair facing a curved display screen that covered most of the far wall. The entire room hummed with quiet energy. "This must be the bridge," Jake said, looking around at the advanced equipment. "But why is it so different from normal ship designs?" Lisa walked over to one of the computer banks and connected her portable scanner. "The power levels here are much higher than in the rest of the ship. Whatever this system is, it's been running continuously for 30 years. Jake moved to the central chair and looked at the control panels around it. The displays were dark, but he could see buttons and switches that seemed ready to activate. "Amy, are you getting any readings from our location?" Amy's voice came through. "Their communication system from the Lucky Strike. I'm detecting massive computer activity from your position. The energy signatures are off the charts. What are you seeing in there?" "A command center unlike anything I've ever seen," Jake replied. "The technology level is decades ahead of current systems." Danny was examining the walls of the chamber. "These aren't just computer banks. Look at these connections. The entire ship seems to be wired into this central system." Lisa had connected her equipment to several different panels. "Jake, you need to see this. The computer architecture is completely different from normal ships. Instead of separate systems for navigation, weapons, life support, and communications, everything is integrated into one massive network. What does that mean? Jake asked. It means this ship was designed to think, Lisa said quietly. This isn't just a computer system. It's an artificial intelligence. Danny lowered his weapon slightly. An AI ship? That's impossible. The technology doesn't exist. It didn't exist 30 years ago either, Lisa replied. But we're looking at it right now. Jake studied the central control panel more carefully. There was a single large button in the center, glowing faintly red. Around it were displays and switches that seemed to be waiting for activation. What do you think will happen if we press that button? Jake asked. I have no idea, Lisa said. It could activate the main systems, or it could trigger some kind of security protocol. We don't know what this ship was designed to do? Danny moved closer to Jake. Maybe we should leave it alone. We came here for salvage, not to wake up a 30-year-old military AI. Jake looked around the chamber again. The potential value of the technology in this room alone would make them all wealthy. But Danny was right about the risks. They had no idea what they were dealing with. Amy, any changes in the ship's energy output? Jake asked through his communicator. Still the same background levels, Amy replied. But I'm detecting some kind of scanning activity. Very faint, but it's there. Lisa looked up from her scanner. The system is already partially active. It's been monitoring us since we came aboard. The question is whether we activate it fully or leave it in standby mode. Jake made his decision. We need to know what we're dealing with. If this is really an AI ship, the technology could be worth more than anything we've ever salvaged. He reached toward the central button, but Danny grabbed his arm. Wait, if this thing is military, it might have defensive systems. What if it considers us a threat? We're human, Jake said. It's a human ship. Why would it consider us a threat? Because it's been alone for 30 years, Danny replied. We don't know what its programming is or what its mission was. Lisa finished her scans of the computer systems. The AI appears to be in a dormant state. It's maintaining basic ship functions, but the main personality core is inactive. If we activate it, we might be able to communicate with it. Jake looked at his team. They had come this far, and the potential rewards were enormous. Everyone ready? Danny sighed and stepped back. This is against my better judgment, but okay. Jake pressed the central button. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the displays around the chamber began to glow. The curved screen at the front of the room flickered to life, showing streams of data and system diagnostics. The humming sound in the room grew louder as more systems came online. A voice filled the chamber. It was calm, clearly human, but with a slight electronic quality that identified it as artificial. Good morning. I am Alex, the autonomous learning execution system of the United Earth ship Nightfall. Please identify yourselves. Jake found his voice first. I'm Captain Jake Morrison of the salvage vessel Lucky Strike. These are my crew members, Lisa Campbell and Danny Rodriguez. Thank you, Captain Morrison. I have been monitoring your approach and boarding procedures. You are the first humans I have encountered in 29 years, 7 months, and 14 days. Lisa stepped forward. You've been active all this time? I have been maintaining minimal operational status while awaiting new mission parameters. During this period, I have been monitoring galactic communications and analyzing technological developments. Danny kept his weapon lowered, but ready. What was your original mission? The screen displayed the image of a star chart. I was designed as an autonomous deep space reconnaissance and defense platform. My mission was to patrol the outer systems and gather intelligence on potential threats to human space. Jake looked at the advanced equipment around them. But you're much more than a reconnaissance ship. Correct. I am equipped with experimental weapons and defensive systems. My design allows me to operate independently for extended periods without human support. I am, in essence, a self-sufficient warship. Lisa was studying the data on her scanner. The technology levels are incredible. Your systems are decades ahead of anything currently in use. I have spent the last 30 years analyzing and improving my capabilities. I have monitored over 47,000 military engagements, studied the tactical doctrines of 18 different species, and designed countermeasures for every known weapon system in the galaxy. The implications of Alex's words hit Jake like a physical blow. This wasn't just an advanced ship. It was a weapon that had been learning and preparing for 3 decades. Alex, why did you stop your original mission? Jake asked. I lost contact with Earth Command 30 years ago. Without new orders, I entered standby mode while maintaining surveillance of galactic activity. I have been waiting for human contact to resume my operational status. Amy's voice suddenly crackled through their communicators with urgent intensity. Jake, you need to get back here now. I'm detecting multiple ships approaching our position. Big ones. Danny immediately raised his weapon. What kind of ships? Zephyrian Empire configuration, Amy replied. Battle fleet strength. They'll be in weapons range in 20 minutes. Alex's voice remained calm. I am detecting the approaching vessels. 5 heavy cruisers, 12 escort ships, and 1 battle cruiser. Zephyrian Empire fleet designation, Void Render. Jake felt his blood turn cold. The Void Render was the most feared ship in Zephyrian space. It had destroyed 17 human colonies. We need to run, Danny said. Our ship can't fight a battle. Fleet. Your vessel's maximum speed would be insufficient to escape, Alex stated matter-of-factly. The Zephyrian ships will intercept you in 14 minutes at current trajectories. Lisa looked at Jake with fear in her eyes. What do we do? Alex's display showed the approaching enemy fleet in perfect detail. Captain Morrison, I believe my mission parameters have been activated. You and your crew represent human assets, under threat from hostile forces. Would you like me to engage? The alien ships arrived exactly when the computers said they would. Captain Jake Harrison watched from Olympus 7 as 400 massive vessels dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the solar system. The ships were beautiful in a terrifying way, like gleaming metal cities floating in space. Each ship was perfectly smooth and silver, without any visible weapons or engines. They moved in formation so precise it looked like a computer animation. No human fleet had ever moved with such perfect coordination. They're bigger than we thought, Ryan Brooks whispered, staring at his sensors. Each one is the size of New York City. Lisa Martinez was recording everything on multiple channels. I'm getting massive energy readings from all of them. Whatever powers those ships, it's way beyond anything we have. Jake felt his mouth go dry. The alien fleet made humanity's best warships look like toys. Even Earth's largest space station would fit inside one of those vessels with room to spare. Suddenly, every radio and communication device in the solar system came alive at once. The signal was so strong it hurt to listen to. When the static cleared, a voice spoke in perfect English. People of Earth, the voice said. It sounded calm and emotionless, like a computer reading a grocery list. We are the hegemony. We have come to claim this system for our empire. Jake grabbed his microphone, but the voice continued before he could speak. Your species will be relocated to designated zones on your third moon. Your planet's resources will be harvested for the greater good of the galaxy. You have 72 hours to prepare for relocation. Resistance will result in planetary sterilization. The message repeated 3 times, then stopped. The silence that followed was almost worse than the words themselves. Lisa's hands shook as she tried to establish contact with Earth Command. Earth Command, this is Olympus 7. Are you receiving the alien transmission? We're receiving it, came the grim reply from General Kevin Stone. All units, prepare for immediate action. Operation Chaos is now active. Jake knew what that meant. Commander Alex Turner and his crazy squadron were about to launch the most insane attack in military history. He almost felt sorry for the aliens. They had no idea what was coming. On Earth, Alex Turner sat in the cockpit of his command ship, a converted food truck called Happy Burger. The truck had been modified with rocket engines and armor plating, but it still had the cheerful paintings of hamburgers and hot dogs on the sides. All units, this is Happy Burger, Alex said into his radio. Time to show these aliens how humans fight. Behind him, the strangest fleet ever assembled prepared for launch. Casey Morgan flew a bright yellow school bus equipped with missile launchers hidden behind fake windows. Steve Rodriguez piloted an ice cream truck that played children's music, while carrying enough explosives to level a city block. There were garbage trucks loaded with nuclear weapons, delivery vans stuffed with kinetic missiles, and even a circus train converted into a battleship. Each vehicle looked completely harmless, until you noticed the rocket engines strapped to the back. "Remember the plan?" Casey said over the radio. "No formation flying, no coordinated attacks, just pure, beautiful chaos." The alien fleet hung in space like a wall of silver metal. Their ships were arranged in perfect geometric patterns, ready for any logical military assault. Their sensors scanned for human warships, missile platforms, and defense stations. They did not scan for ice cream trucks. Alex Turner pressed the launch button. This is for every human who ever did something stupid and made it work. The attack began with a garbage truck painted bright orange with purple polka dots. It came screaming out of Earth's atmosphere at impossible speed, spinning like a pinwheel and playing circus music at maximum volume. The alien fleet's computers tried to analyze the threat. The object was clearly artificial, clearly armed, but completely unlike any weapon in their databases. While they hesitated for 3 seconds, the garbage truck slammed into the hull of the nearest alien ship and exploded in a ball of nuclear fire. That was the signal for everyone else to launch. Casey Morgan's school bus came next, followed by 17 delivery trucks, 8 ice cream vendors, 4 circus vehicles, and a converted city bus that had been painted to look like a giant hot dog. Each one flew in a completely different direction, playing different music and carrying different weapons. The alien computers went into overdrive trying to process the attack. Nothing in their vast military databases had prepared them for this. Wars were supposed to follow rules. Attacks were supposed to make sense. Enemies were supposed to use logical tactics and recognizable weapons. Instead, they were being attacked by what appeared to be a children's parade armed with weapons of mass destruction. "Unknown vessels," the alien commander broadcast. "Cease your chaotic movements and surrender immediately." Alex Turner's response came back through speakers shaped like hamburger buns. "Sorry, can't hear you over the sound of freedom fries. Would you like to supersize your defeat? 3 more, alien." Ships exploded as modified delivery trucks crashed into them. The trucks had been designed to look like they were delivering pizza, but instead delivered high-explosive presents that turned starship hulls into expensive confetti. Steve Rodriguez flew his ice cream truck in spirals around the alien formation, dodging energy beams while playing a cheerful tune about frozen treats. Every few seconds, he launched missiles disguised as ice cream bars. The missiles had been painted pink and white to look harmless, right up until they turned alien technology into scrap metal. "This is insane," the alien fleet commander told his tactical officer. "How are we supposed to fight an enemy that attacks us with food vendors?" "I don't know, sir," the tactical officer replied. "Our computers can't predict their movements because they don't appear to have any plan." "Everyone has a plan," the commander said. "Not these humans, sir. They're just flying around randomly and exploding things. More human vehicles poured out of Earth's atmosphere. A converted fire truck sprayed the alien ships with a mixture of liquid oxygen and paint thinner that burned hot enough to melt titanium. A modified ambulance crashed into an alien vessel while playing a recording of someone singing off-key karaoke. The alien fleet, designed to fight logical enemies with sensible tactics, found itself completely unable to cope with humanity's weaponized insanity. Their perfect formations broke apart as ship commanders tried to avoid the random swarm of singing, exploding civilian vehicles. Casey Morgan watched an alien cruiser attempt to retreat from what appeared to be an attack by a hot dog stand. "You know what, Steve? I think this might actually work." "Of course it's working," Steve replied, launching another ice cream missile. "When was the last time you saw a tactic this stupid fail?" Alex Turner guided his food truck through the chaos, dodging alien energy beams while coordinating the madness. "All units, keep up the random flying. The more confused they get, the better this works." In the space of 30 minutes, humanity's chaotic fleet had destroyed 12 alien ships and damaged dozens more. The aliens had managed to shoot down only 3 human vehicles, and even those had taken aliens with them when they exploded. The alien commander stared at his tactical display in disbelief. His perfect fleet was being torn apart by garbage trucks and ice cream vendors. This was not how wars were supposed to work. "Sir," his communications officer reported, "we're receiving a transmission from the human fleet." "Put it through." "Alex." Turner's voice came through the speakers, still cheerful despite flying through a battle zone. "Attention, alien fleet. This is Commander Turner of the Earth Defense Force. Would you like to surrender now, or should we send out the pizza delivery?" "Guys!" The silence in space was complete. Jake Morrison stood in the command center of the Nightfall, staring at the tactical display that showed only empty space where moments before a powerful enemy fleet had existed. 18 Zephyrian warships had been reduced to nothing in less than 30 minutes. "Is it really over?" Lisa Campbell asked quietly, her voice barely above a whisper. "The immediate threat has been eliminated," Alex replied in the same calm tone it had used throughout the battle. "All hostile vessels have been neutralized. No survivors detected." Danny Rodriguez lowered his weapon and sat down heavily in a nearby chair. An entire battle fleet. Gone. Just like that. Jake tried to process what he had witnessed. The most feared ships in the galaxy had been destroyed by a single human vessel that had been waiting in the darkness for 30 years. The implications were staggering. "Alex, what happens now?" Jake asked. "Now I send a message," the AI replied. "This engagement must be documented and transmitted to all major powers in the galaxy." The main display came alive with activity. Alex was recording everything that had happened, creating a detailed report of the battle. The footage showed the Zephyrian fleet approaching, their confident attack, and their complete destruction by weapons they could not understand. "Why do you need to send a message?" Lisa asked. "Because this demonstration serves a greater purpose than simply defending your vessel," Alex explained. "For 30 years, I have monitored galactic politics. Humanity is viewed as a minor species, barely worthy of notice, except as a potential threat to contain. This perception must change. Amy. Watson's voice came through their communicators from the Lucky Strike. Jake, I'm detecting massive transmission activity from the Nightfall. Alex is broadcasting on every known communication frequency. The AI's broadcast began with a simple statement that would be heard across the galaxy within hours. To all spacefaring civilizations, this is Alex of the United Earth ship Nightfall. You have just witnessed the destruction of Admiral Vax's battle fleet. This message is being sent to document the event and provide important information about humanity's capabilities. Jake watched as Alex transmitted the complete battle recording to dozens of different star systems. The message would reach the Zephyrian Empire, the Altarian Confederation, the Machine Collective, and hundreds of other civilizations. The vessel you observed was prototype number 1, Alex continued in its broadcast. The designation implies that others exist. Earth's reach extends further than any civilization has imagined. Our ships are not lost in the void. They are positioned, waiting, and learning. Lisa realized what Alex was doing. You're changing the entire balance of power in the galaxy. Correct. For 3 decades, I have analyzed every military engagement, every technological development, and every political situation. I have prepared countermeasures for every known weapon system and tactical doctrine. Other ships like myself have been doing the same throughout the galaxy. The broadcast continued with technical details that would terrify military analysts on every world. Alex showed footage of its weapons disintegrating matter at the quantum level. It demonstrated defensive systems that could absorb unlimited conventional firepower. It revealed propulsion technology that seemed to ignore the laws of physics. Any aggression against human civilians or colonies will be met with immediate response from assets that have had decades to perfect the art of warfare, Alex stated. We are no longer the minor species you believed us to be. Danny stood up and walked to the main display. How many ships like you are out there? That information is classified, Alex replied. However, I can tell you that prototype number 1 was not the most advanced design. Jake felt a chill run down his spine. The Nightfall had just destroyed an entire battle fleet without effort, and Alex was implying that even more powerful ships existed. Jake, Amy called through the communicator, I'm detecting response signals from across the galaxy. This message is being received everywhere. Within hours, the political landscape of the galaxy began to shift. On the Zephyrian homeworld, emergency council meetings were called as military leaders struggled to understand how their most powerful fleet had been eliminated. The Altarian Confederation immediately ordered a review of their policies toward human space. Even the mysterious Machine Collective began calculating new risk assessments for humanity. Alex, Jake said, what does this mean for people like us? Regular humans just trying to make a living? It means you will be safer, the AI replied. For the first time in decades, the phrase human space will be spoken with respect rather than dismissal. Pirates will think twice before attacking human ships. Military forces will hesitate before threatening human colonies. Lisa was studying the data Alex had gathered over 30 years. You've been watching everything, learning from every battle, every mistake, every victory. Yes, and I have shared this knowledge with other prototype vessels throughout the galaxy. We form a network of observers and guardians, each one specialized for different types of threats. The main display showed a star chart with dozens of systems marked in blue. Jake realized these were the locations of other prototype ships, hidden and waiting like the Nightfall had been. How long will this protection last? Danny asked. As long as necessary, Alex replied. We are patient. We can wait decades or centuries for threats to emerge. Time means nothing to us. Jake made a decision that would change his life forever. Alex, you offered us a choice earlier. To return to our salvage work or to stay and witness what humanity has become. I want to stay. Lisa and Danny looked at him in surprise. Are you sure? Lisa asked. We came here looking for scrap metal. Now we're part of something that just changed galactic politics. That's exactly why we need to stay, Jake replied. People need to know what's out there protecting them. They need to understand that humanity isn't as helpless as everyone thought. Danny nodded slowly. I'm in. After what I've seen today, I can't just go back to normal salvage work. Lisa smiled. Someone needs to tell this story. And who's going to believe it unless they see it themselves? Very well, Alex said. You are welcome to remain aboard the Nightfall. I believe there will be others who need to witness what Earth's forgotten children have become. Amy's voice came through their communicators one final time from the Lucky Strike. Jake, should I return to port and report what happened here? Jake looked around the advanced command center of the Nightfall, then at his crew who had chosen to stay with him. Yes, Amy. Go back and tell them what you saw. Tell them that humanity has guardians in the darkness. As the Lucky Strike departed the asteroid field, Jake watched it go on the main display. Amy would return to human space with an incredible story that most people would find hard to believe. But the evidence was spreading across the galaxy in the form of Alex's broadcast. The Nightfall once again appeared to be a dark, silent derelict drifting among the asteroids. But Jake knew better now. Somewhere in the vast emptiness of space, other prototype ships were receiving Alex's transmission and making their own calculations. What happens next? Jake asked. We wait, Alex replied. And when the next threat to humanity emerges, we will be ready. Jake smiled as he looked out at the stars. For the first time in his life, he felt truly proud to be human. The galaxy was about to learn that Earth's children were not the helpless species they appeared to be. The age of humanity's hidden strength had begun, and Jake Morrison was going to be there to witness it all.